Sorry for the background noise, but we're going to dig right on into it. So we knew that this was going to happen. They said that they were going to put new rules in place. Now, while many didn't believe it, maybe they felt like, well, they said we're going to be good with our SNAP benefits all the way until September of 2026 at least. We ain't got to worry about nothing. Well, you do have to worry about something if you don't meet these requirements. Let's get into it, you guys. Go ahead and hit that like button, share this video out with your family and friends so they'll know what exactly is going on. Staying in the know on the go. I'm going to try to make this not a long video, but we want to cover it all so that the information is out there. And hitting that like definitely helps push this video out to more people. I hope you guys are doing well, staying safe and warm, and have stocked up if you are getting EBT/food stamps, that you were getting the right items to go into your home, because those changes went into effect on Sunday, February 1st. And y'all, we are at what, February 3rd now? And so a lot of people are finding out and waking up with absolutely nothing on their EBT cards, or less on their EBT cards, and trying to figure out why. Well, this is exactly why. So at least 3 states are already on board, but 43 more states are expected to comply with this new law. These are requirements that took effect on Sunday. New eligibility rules are in effect, which are causing many SNAP recipients to lose their benefits. I'm sorry, I thought I was sharing with you guys, and I absolutely was not. There we go. Okay. So, yeah, recipients of the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, also known as SNAP, are facing new work requirements that could wipe out their benefits if they don't meet these expectations. A U.S. Health Policy Organization, KFF, anticipates that the work requirement will go into effect in 43 states. The new rules went into effect on Sunday in Illinois, Texas, and Ohio, impacting hundreds of thousands of beneficiaries that woke up and did not have their SNAP if they didn't meet these requirements. And so what are the new requirements? The new work requirement calls for a recipient to work at least 20 hours per week or 80 hours per month in order for them to be eligible to receive this assistance. Work can include paid or unpaid gigs or volunteering. So if you can't find a job, they understand sometimes you can't find a job. So they're saying, well, then if you want these benefits, then you need to go volunteer somewhere. Able-bodied adults without dependents can only receive SNAP benefits for 3 months within a 3-year window unless they meet the new requirements. In the past, able-bodied adults ages 18 through 54 were subject to a work requirement, but it has since been extended to the age you got to now work till you're 64. So 18 through 64 is the new requirement, as President Donald Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill has brought several changes to this program. Recipients must also document their hours of work to continue receiving benefits, according to a Texas outlet. The over 3 million Texans who receive SNAP benefits will need to log and submit their hours to the Texas Health and Human Services Commission for the commission to verify it. The agency will also accept hours for participating in work programs, which include SNAP employment and training, any Texas Workforce Commission work program, or the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity. Exemption changes are, the new rules also add or made changes to exemptions, which is causing some groups that were previously exempt from work requirements to now be required to work and meet them. So those groups include veterans, unhoused individuals, young adults, aging out of the foster care system. I feel those three cases need to be a case-by-case situation. If they're going to do that at all, it should be a case-by-case situation. And the fact that a veteran has, you know, once they meet that age requirement or whatever, still got to work or whatever, no matter what, I don't know. I don't know how y'all feel about it. Y'all can let me know. And then unhoused individuals, so the homeless and young adults aging out of the foster care system. The new rule also limited the exemption for parents or household members with a dependent child. The exemption now only applies to those children that are under the age of 14. So if you have dependents, they depend on you, and they are over 14 years old, but not yet 18 years old, oh well, is what they're saying. Not me, them. They're saying. So this says, will SNAP benefits be impacted by the partial government shutdown? Well, let's find out. The New York requirement rules took effect, which I'm not sure where the shutdown is right now because I didn't check into that today. On February 1st, in a few states, just days after the partial government shutdown took place, the federal government entered a partial shutdown at the end of January, which is different from the record long shutdown that they had in October 2025. The partial shutdown came as Congress was unable to pass funding legislation by a Friday deadline, which came after Democrats expressed concerns about funding bills for the Department of Homeland Security and associated agencies following the shooting deaths of Renee Good and Alex Preddy. Congress has also passed half of 2026's funding bill, which ensures that several federal agencies will continue operating through September. One of those agencies' funding includes SNAP, which is funded through September 30th. Again, SNAP is funded through September 30th. But as of right now, if you don't meet these new requirements, see, they're going to find a way to get you off of it. So you might as well be trying to get yourself off of it, because they just going to kick you off of it and you're not prepared. Then your kids are looking at you like, what now? So if you're still on it, you meet the requirements, try to get off of it before September 30th, because the plan is to get everybody off of it one way or another. So they're going to figure out how to do it, whether it's moving these ages around again or who can and who can't. So full SNAP benefit amounts are expected to be issued on their regular schedule if you meet those requirements. The work requirements does still have a few exemptions despite the changes. Those who cannot work due to mental or physical circumstance, or those who are pregnant, do not need to meet that requirement. Additional shakeups hitting, and that don't mean go out and get pregnant so you can still continue to get SNAP. That don't mean that at all. Additional shakeups hitting SNAP are causing more recipients to lose out on their eligibility. Now, those who are classified as aliens under federal law and are legally in the U.S. are no longer eligible for benefits. So all illegal aliens is what they're calling them, have to be off of it and will be off of it. They will not be getting the stamps anymore. Refugees, asylees, trafficking survivors, and those who are conditionally allowed non-citizens also lost their eligibility. Like I said, they're trying to kick everybody off. They don't have a heart about anybody who is on there. They don't want to hear your sob story. They don't care what you done been through and how you done been through it, how you got through it. They say, you ain't getting no more money. Okay, we need this money to go somewhere else. So the One Big Beautiful Bill did add additional exemptions for Native Americans, Indigenous people, Alaska Natives, and tribal members, and as they should, because they was here before anyway.
Benefits. The changes went into effect yesterday. Anyone between the ages of 18 and 64 who does not have a dependent under the age of 14 will be required to work or volunteer at least 80 hours every month in order to keep the benefits. Now, if you do not meet those qualifications or do not have an exemption, you may only get SNAP for 3 months over a 3-year period. Food pantries say they are expecting to see a surge in demand as a result.
And that's going to be the thing, because food pantries are already suffering, especially with all these winter storms that have been hitting, and people have been hitting up the food pantries. I know a lot of food pantries here in North Carolina, especially Western North Carolina. There's people still dealing with Hurricane Helene that happened over a year ago. Don't have a home, sleeping in tents in this type of weather, and don't have access to food. And so the food pantries that were set up, they were running on E. They had a little bit of items in there, but nothing that would like make a meal. So a lot of people are going to be hurting right now. And my prayers definitely goes out to those folk, because sometimes circumstances happen and we find ourselves needing this assistance. And now, because so many people have took advantage of the system, people who truly, truly need it right now are not going to be able to get it.
Hey, good morning, guys. Yeah, this could have some major impacts for sure. Right now, 42 million people across the country rely on SNAP benefits just to put food on the table. And if you remember, at the end of last year, those SNAP recipients already kind of started feeling the impacts after losing access to those benefits during a government shutdown, which ultimately were later restored. Now, President Trump's so-called One Big Beautiful Bill, which passed last summer, essentially makes it harder for people to be eligible for SNAP with stricter work requirements. Under that bill, $186 billion in SNAP funding were also cut through the year 2034. So here are the new work requirements now in effect. Anyone between the ages of 18 and 64 must either work, volunteer, or participate in some sort of work or educational training program for at least 80 hours a month. Under previous rules, that maximum age for these work requirements was 54. Now, veterans, young adults who grew up in foster care, and people experiencing homelessness are no longer exempt from work requirements like they used to be. And people in the U.S. under asylum and refugee laws are no longer eligible for SNAP benefits at all. Now, there are exemptions, though, and that includes people living with disabilities, people who are pregnant, or if you have a child at home under the age of 14, which used to be 18 under those previous rules. Now, if you are exempt, you are encouraged to fill out and submit a form as soon as possible through the State Department of Human Services website. Now, we did chat with a local food bank recently about these new changes to SNAP and the widespread impacts those changes could have.
We are bracing ourselves for yet another hunger crisis. I mean, you're correct. You know, during the recent government shutdown, we saw what happens and the hunger and hardship that was unleashed on this city and on this country when you take away access to SNAP. It's a critical lifeline for many, 2 million people actually in the state of Illinois. And we estimate that around 200,000 SNAP participants will be affected by these work requirements and will not be able to show that they have an exemption and are at risk of losing their benefits starting May the 1st.
Yeah, so just to reiterate here, people who don't meet these new requirements will only be eligible for benefits for 3 months every 3 years. And the date here to watch is May 1st, as they could lose access to those benefits starting on that day. Now, the state does have a free tool that you can use to find out whether you are exempt or to find out whether you even meet these new work requirements. They do have that up on their website right now under the aid portal. Guys, back to you.
Say thank you. I think it's.
And again, that's just so sad that, you know, people who will need access to food they're going to lose that access.
Sometimes the jokes just write themselves, man. I'm sitting here reading articles about SNAP recipients being upset that they're now being required to work at least 20 hours a week to receive food stamps. Like 20 hours a week. 20 hours a week. Man, you are like that. I should have worked 20 hours a day. Working 20 hours a week? I wish all I had to do was work 20 hours a week and I could eat all of the good foods.
Job. They are now forcing you to do community service hours, at least 15 hours a week, or you lose your food stamps. I have been on food stamps for 13 years, okay? I get the maximum, $4,300 a month, okay? I have 6 kids, 4 baby daddies. None of my baby daddies actually help with their kids, so I have to get help from the government, from the taxpayers, okay? From you guys, okay? I can't go out and get a regular job. I have 6 kids, like I just said, okay? And I'm doing this by myself. I can't go out and get a regular
Mind
job.
you, she's making, if this is true, she's making thousands of dollars off of her social medias doing this type of content right here. So let's see what the comments say. One says, I love this idea, give and take. It's important to contribute to your community rather than being a deficit or a burden upon others. Another person said, most people don't get paid that much for 40 hours a week. I remember seeing a different comment. I don't know where it went, but they were talking about, so you're going to work 40 hours, 80 hours, 40 hours a week, 80 hours a month, just for them to tell you, you now don't qualify because you make too much money. So this person says, at home, mom with 4 young children, 2 of them were in elementary school and my other 2 were very young. One was only 6 months old and the other was 3. I couldn't afford daycare and I never asked for government help or food stamps. Every morning I woke up at 5 a.m. to take my older kids to school, which was about 45 minutes away. While they were in school, I worked during delivery jobs. I would take my 2 little ones with me, put them in the cart and do grocery deliveries for other people. It wasn't easy and it wasn't much money, maybe $200, $300 a day. But I kept going because I wanted to take care of my family with my own effort. My husband is disabled, and although he works, it's not always enough. Still, we never gave up. We worked hard, paid our bills, and kept moving forward. Then at 43 years old, I made one of the biggest decisions of my life. I joined the U.S. Army. Now I'm 44, serving on active duty, and thank you for your service, Inga. I joined the U.S. Army. Now I'm 44, serving on active duty, and I've even bought a house. I've learned so much through this journey. I believe in taking responsibility for your own life. Nobody owes you anything, not the government, not other people. Life in the United States gives you amazing opportunities, but you have to use your brain, work hard, and make smart choices. That's how I live, and that's the message I want to share. Never give up. Never depend on others, and always believe in yourself. So I'm going to leave it there. Y'all definitely leave your comments down below. Let me know how you feel about these new requirements, and is it too much to ask of them, or is about okay for them to require people to work in order to receive, and even if not work, volunteer and donate your time. So yeah, I know I always every few months will donate to a different food bank around here. It's usually a church food bank, and I'm going to do that this month. So every month I will do it once a month. I haven't even replenished my own pantry, but I feel like, you know, I can do a little bit. I can't do a lot, but I can do a little bit. So if you can do a little bit to help someone else, I say go ahead and do it. Yeah, y'all, let me know what you think down below. Remember, hit that like, share this video out, and leave your comments down below. Bye.